Hey, stats class. Believe it or not, section 8.4, the one that we did yesterday or in the last video, was the last section. So we're to the chapter review already. So you should have a sheet that looks like this with chapter 8 review problems on it. There's 6 on the first side, and then it kind of looks like this on the next few pages. Okay, so you're going to want to take that out. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give you guys a couple days to work on this section. So Wednesday, Thursday, I'm not going to post too much for video wise, but I'm just going to give you guys a chance to work through these problems, okay? Going through, I have a couple notes that I want you to write down, or some formulas anyway, at least, that can kind of help give you a head start. So 1 through 6 is just going to ask you just regular questions. I think number 3 is kind of a hypothesis testing from start to finish using the p-value method. And so that one you kind of go through start to finish, but the rest of these are just going to ask questions like, do you use a left tail, a right tail, a two-tail? What do you use? Some true and false things, okay? Some of this can be kind of tricky. So what I think I'm going to do is, as we go through here, there are, I don't know how many questions, these aren't even labeled, with numbers on each one. But what I'm going to have you do is, as you're watching this video and as you're going through some of these problems, what I'll do for the video that I post tomorrow is I'm going to get some feedback from you as to which problems you kind of want me to go through. So if there are, questions specifically that you have, like I have no idea what they're asking on number 1, or I have no idea how to do, coffee vending machines from the standard deviation section, okay? What I want you to do is comment that on this assignment, and then I will pick those problems out particularly and use those for the next video. If I don't receive any comments from you, I'm just going to pick my own problems and then we'll go from there, okay? For my video that I post tomorrow. But I'll go through some of these with you. I will do specifically the ones that you comment on. Keeping in mind that I'm only going to do like 2 or 3, maybe 4 at the most. But comment below what problems you have in particular. Otherwise, I can also do like a Zoom conference or, like a face-to-face thing, if that would help too, if you need some extra help with this. But this is what we'll be working on in the next 2 sections. I wanted to give you some notes on number 1. So using the methods of this chapter, identify the distribution that should be used to test the claim. Now, your options are a Z chart, a T chart, and an X or a chi-squared chart. Okay, so when you're doing a mean, which one of those do you use? When you're doing a proportion, which one do you use? When you're doing standard deviation, which one do you use? Now there is one in here that has 2 of these that you will have to choose between. Okay, so kind of go through those and think about which one you will do. 2, 3, 4, 5, those are all kind of straightforward questions. Make sure you're explaining if they ask you to explain. And then I went ahead on the next page and I wrote some formulas here. So for proportion, okay, there are 2 questions that I post here. So if you want me to go through one of these, just say, hey, can you go through proportion, the Mickey D's question, okay? And I will be sure to post that in my video for tomorrow. These 2 questions are going to revolve around using this test statistic, which is this formula here. So I went ahead and posted that off to the side for you. I do not care which one you use, the critical value method or the p-value method. So you get to choose. Choose the critical value method or p-value method. I do not care which one you choose. And if you really want to go crazy, you can do the confidence interval method too. That's a 3rd option, but one of those 2 will be just fine. I don't care which method you use, whichever one you like the best. Okay, same thing goes for when we get to mean. Okay, your test statistic for mean is either T or Z. And again, that depends on whether your N is greater than 30. You're going to use Z. If N is less than 30, you're going to use T. And this is the test statistic that you're going to use, okay? So that will give you the number that you are testing against. If you run into any difficulties, you can always go back to your notes, and this will walk you through one of these problems. But there are, I think, 2 of these. So speed dating for mean, and there is got a minute for mean. Okay, so there's another 2 problems for mean. Test statistic is this formula here. Okay. All right, and then standard deviation is the last one, the test statistic for that one. Oh, I didn't write test statistic in here, but test statistic is that chi-squared, n minus 1 standard deviation over the standard deviation squared. Okay, keeping in mind that this is the claim, and this is what we're given. Okay, so all of that stuff is in your notes also too, but go through each one of these problems. That's why I'm giving you 2 days to do this, because some of these kind of take a while. But as you run into problems, or if you run into problems, please comment and tell me which ones you want me to go through. Otherwise, I'll just pick ones myself that I think are good examples to go through. So again, these ones aren't labeled with numbers, so you might just say coffee vending machines from the standard deviation section. And I'll make sure and go through that one with you. Okay. So really short video. I'm going to cut it off at that. This is your only assignment that you have for the next 2 days. But be watching for a video tomorrow, because I'll go through some of these with you according to which ones you want me to do. So make sure you comment below which ones you want me to do. Otherwise, I pick my own. Okay. And that's all I have for you.